Well, this game was unexpected. The title that was supposed to be a complete meme and parody of various AAA titles is actually an extremely well put together, unique, quirky, and most importantly, fun experience. Does that mean it's perfect? Absolutely not. Of note, I am only level 39 as of writing the script and have not entered the endgame yet. I do, however, have a good understanding and feel of the game to where I feel comfortable talking about my thoughts, both praise and criticism. This video will be broken down into 3 different sections: combat, exploration, and management, being the main broad spectrums that Palworld falls into, and finally ending with a look into the future. I do plan on covering Palworld as much as possible and making content for it. Currently, I am playing a co-op world with my friend who joins me occasionally, though I am especially looking forward to PvP and will be joining servers when it is added. Right now, I am going slow, experimenting, and seeing what the game has to offer before the competitive side of it goes live. I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/wintericarus. If you enjoy the content, check me out there, and don't forget to subscribe on YouTube to join the fun and keep up to date with Palworld news. My name is Winter, and these are my thoughts on Palworld. We are starting off strong with combat. The weapon play in Palworld is absolutely fantastic, with a couple exceptions. In my current game, I have gotten to the handgun as far as guns go. I do technically have the single shot rifle and shotgun unlocked, but I do not have a way to craft them, as I need to build the assembly line and I have not done that yet. That being said, I imagine they play similarly to the handgun, just with a bit of buff damage. Although ranged weapons I have used have felt great, and each addition and unlock has felt like a powerful upgrade. The exception lies with melee weapons. I used the base spear you get early on, and to me that melee combat just felt clunky and just kind of meh. This could be remedied later with more powerful melee weapons, but I have not used them and have been sticking with the ranged weapons. I also have a criticism for ranged weapons. There is no way to damage faraway targets. After a certain distance, the projectile just disappears and will not go any further. So even if you are accurate, you still need to be fairly close to a target to actually be able to damage it with the guns that I have used. I hope somehow in the future this will be changed to allow sniping from far away, as this map will be extremely good for a sniper playstyle in certain areas. Player weapons are not the only aspect to combat, however. There is much more that will make Palworld stand out when PvP goes live. There are most obviously the pals. Each pal has its 3 damaging abilities that you can change and swap between basically at will to adapt to current combat demands. Pals also have special abilities that for some are unlocked as soon as you catch them. However, for most, you will need to craft a special item to make use of that pal's special ability. These specials vary wildly, some becoming mounts, both ground and air. Others have DPS specials, some can heal you. Others have more utility specials, like being able to mine ore while you do other things. The variety in how pals function gives an abundant amount of ways you can actually build your character and loadout, and the build diversity will be extreme even when a initial meta is found. Now we come to the movement. This is something I was not expecting from a game like this. The movement is really good. By base, every player can dodge, roll, and slide. Later, you will unlock the glider, then mounts, then PAL abilities to enhance your glider. By the end, you have something that looks like this.
Yeah, just watch this. This is like, for some reason, this is like the epitome of like how the combat is gonna be like endgame. This is like slide in, shoot, head out, use pet ability to ram into them, use second pet ability to do a little bit more damage, jump off, glide off the pet, like, and then take care of the minions while pet's dealing with the boss. Notice pet's boss's health is down, recall pet so I can be able to capture it, glide over to the pet, throw the ball, initially try to capture it. Like, and I decided just to kill him there because I was like, I'm not going to waste my raw on you.
And I am sure there is a ton more movement abilities and tech out there just waiting to be discovered. In fact, as I am writing this script, I have found tech with the grappling gun that could enable crazy movement. I have noticed using the glider a lot seems to be inconsistent. When you try and put the glider away mid-air, sometimes it works and other times it doesn't, and you have to spam the button to put the glider away. Other than that slight gripe, this movement system is 100% worth learning and getting good at. It is extremely fun and rewarding, especially when you are in a difficult circumstance and you are able to use movement and movement tech to dodge and evade attacks. It just feels satisfying. Speaking of difficulty, generally, as far as the AI in this game goes, it's actually fairly easy. The difficulty more stems from bullet spongy enemies later on, turning fights into more of a endurance challenge. From everything I'm seeing as far as pals go, all attacks are very well telegraphed, though some are a lot harder than others to dodge, but to me it's all felt fair. Except for a very specific circumstance. If a pal starts to attack right as it is hit with a sphere, the attack will still go through even if it is already inside the sphere. In essence, turning off the telegraphing, which almost always results in you, the player, taking damage. This is especially hurtful with attacks that have a longer telegraphing time. Most notable for me is the Robin Quill's bow attack, which essentially is a hit scan attack against you, dealing a decent amount of damage unless you are behind the cover. The telegraphing for it is long to give you time to find cover, so if it starts the attack right as you hit it with a sphere, you would have no idea it is charging the attack and then suddenly you're hit for big damage out of nowhere. Another gripe I have with the AI is the ones that use guns. They are just aimbots that never miss, there is no way to dodge or outmaneuver, the only thing is to out-DPS them or turn their aggro onto your pal. I feel like the hit-scan nature of the guns, at least for the AI, needs to be changed in some way to make fighting them actually fun, and not just needing to tank their bullets. Overall, the combat is absolutely amazing right from the start. I believe that there is some tweaking that needs to be done to make the combat even better. But even as it is currently, it is extremely fun, and with how I've been no-lifing this game for the past 3 to 4 days, I think I may be addicted to it just a bit. While not in combat, you will be either managing and building bases or out exploring the extremely large, handcrafted world that Palworld takes place in. Let's take a look at that exploration aspect. The world is vibrant with many different aesthetics and vibes as you enter new areas, from lush forest and fields to an autumn grove, hot deserts, cold tundras, volcanic areas, and many other different biomes. Along with new pals that fit the biome, each also presents new challenges such as dealing with temperature differences. You will need different gear to protect against the desert heat versus going into the cold tundra. This gives the feeling of each biome actually being alive and different rather than just a different skin over the same cycle of gameplay. Exploration is not just rewarding visually. There are many things to find, such as chests for loot, eggs to hatch, effigies to increase your capture power. There's also dungeons that give access to different pals than usually found in that area, that culminate into a boss fight that you can capture the boss and then on top of that gain some exclusive loot from the dungeon. There are different faction camps that you can clear out and then free a caged pal that will then join your team, or settlements where you can trade with NPCs. There are world bosses that you can farm every hour for rare loot and powerful pals. There's also towers that function as the main boss battles and progression for the game. Palworld makes exploration meaningful by giving each and every area pals and events to make it unique, fun, useful, and memorable, while at the same time unlocking ample fast travel, so once you find an area, it is always just a click away from going back for any needs that may arise in your progression throughout the game. Once you are done exploring and looting the world, you will head back to base and get into the other major aspect of the game. Base and inventory management. While not the most exciting thing in the game, it can be very enjoyable and rewarding. Palworld does a good job of minimizing the tedium of management and survival aspect that many survival games struggle with. Good controls, with a quality of life, to move the items from different inventories, and the pals you collect to do the work of maintaining the base. All you have to do as a player is maintain the pal's happiness and health, which becomes very easy fairly early on. In fact, the hardest thing about base management is to make sure the pal's pathing works correctly. For complex bases and structures, pals tend to get stuck or their AI burst breaks. This is an issue already acknowledged by the devs and is being worked on and will hopefully be patched soon to make many different base designs actually viable without the insane micromanagement of making sure your pals are not just getting stuck. As you level in the game, the most limiting factor that will hinder you is carry weight. Every level, you earn a stat point and you can distribute between different character attributes such as attack, stamina, carry weight, work speed, and health. Because of how carry weight is, you will almost always want to go into carry weight and maybe occasionally into health and stamina. Attack seems to be an almost useless stat to go into as its increase is near negligible in improvement. I would love to see a rebalancing of how these stats work and improve to make many more different builds viable. Leveling also grants access to unlocking different technologies. These technologies can range from building blocks for bases, to crafting stations, to weapons and PAL accessories. Each unlock feels like a good progression, at least in my experience. The only technologies that feel wasted are the armor, shields, and gliders. This is because as you progress, you just unlock better versions of those equipment. Whereas with the weapons and other gear, you need to find the better versions as drops within the world. So the technology gives you the ability to use the weapon you want, but if you want the best version, you need to go locate where it drops and then farm that location until you get it. I want to preface the discussion about the future of Palworld with two important things that I am feeling since my discovery of Palworld. First, I am excited for what this game could possibly be. I want to stress the word possibly because the second thing that accompanies the excitement I feel is caution. I have played my fair share of early access games, especially in the survival and survival PvP sphere, pun intended, that had potential but failed for various reasons. Most notably, Nether and Zera, both of which I have more hours in than I care to admit to. I want this game to do well because I am having fun with it. However, I also know how these things work, and Palworld does have an uphill battle to balance engaging content along with a fair game, along with dealing with all the controversy surrounding the launch. I personally will not be commenting or really talking about any of the drama or controversy surrounding Palworld, as there are many people that are more knowledgeable and proficient in that sphere, again, pun intended, than I am. Also, I am a firm believer that video games should be a way to escape, relax, and have fun as entertainment. The Dragon Den is a safe place I intend for you to be able to enter, recharge, and relax from your day-to-day life, so as such, we will be enjoying the worlds and the experiences that are in front of us while we can. I simply mention the controversy as it is a legitimate hurdle that Palworld will need to overcome to grow and stay successful, which leads into the caution side of my cautious optimism. As far as looking into the future, the Palworld devs have released the early access roadmap, so we actually do know several things that we can expect to arrive, hopefully sooner rather than later. There are no dates on the roadmap, though considering how the majority of modern live service games tend to keep up with release schedules and promise dates, this is probably a good thing. In fact, the two main items listed under addressing critical issues have already had a patch rolled out to supposedly fix them. I never had an issue with either the world date or the loading screens before or after the patch, so I'm not sure if they are 100% resolved, but I have heard no complaints after the patch, so I am erring on the side that they indeed have been resolved already. This patch, being only days after the roadmap was announced, hopefully points towards at least a semi-rapid update cycle, but at this point we can only hope. As far as announced content that I am most looking forward to, improvements to base PAL AI pathing is probably the largest for me right now. To put it bluntly, the AI sucks. AI across the game, both allied and enemy, needs to be improved. Key configuration improvements seems a little vague, but I'm assuming this is referring to PAL workstation configuration, as in the way you assign PAL to certain workstations and what tasks they prioritize. If this is the case, then I am looking forward immensely to this as well, as it will make base management even smoother than it already is. I am obviously looking forward to PvP, both the normal and the PAL arena. I think that will just make a healthy game overall and will be more or less the end game as long as the devs are able to keep the balance and fairness in check. And then for obvious reasons, I'm looking forward to new islands, PALs, bosses, technologies, as well as raid bosses. All of these just increasing content density and giving more things to do is always a good thing, as long as it fits well within the already established gameplay loop. I hope you have enjoyed your time here in the Dragon Den. These are my thoughts on Palworld after 57 hours, and I hope I have been able to highlight what I find enjoyable and what needs work within this world to help you decide whether or not this game is for you. If you are interested, Palworld can be found on Steam and Xbox for $29.99 US, as well as on Game Pass. Thank you for your time, and I will see you next time in the Dragon Den. Good hunting.